the Red Sox winning in Toronto, just like I told you they would.
Never a doubt.
Never doubted them. Had them all the way.
Bad call.
Low energy there on the call, I thought, a little bit.
Because they felt like they got away with one.
What do you mean they got away with one?
They got away with one.
How so?
It was in the second inning.
That ball's right. I don't care. That changes everything. Adds pitches, gets him out of the game quicker. Everything changes there. Now, all of a sudden, that team had tight you-know-whats at the beginning of that damn game. And I texted you guys that. You could see Core in the dugout. He's looking left and right after the call like they were all tight.
You also had Lucas Giolito, who looked like absolute crap with his velocity.
Like ass.
But still, the fact that the Blue Jays couldn't take advantage, I don't feel bad for you that you couldn't take advantage of a missed call.
Because they called it a foul, and then they called it on a strike 3 that was about a million miles outside.
Even later in the game, in the fifth inning, like the whole situation with Ceddanne Rafaela. Ceddanne Rafaela was safe at third base, and right before that, Wilyer Abreu got screwed on a 3-0 call. He should have been walked, and it should have been bases loaded before Carlos Narvaez hit that double, and that would have made it 5-1. So I don't feel bad for the Blue Jays one bit. If you can't hit Lucas Giolito looking like that, good luck to you.
Good luck.
The reaction from Springer tells you the importance of this game. Tells you the importance of where we are at in the season for all involved. And that happened early in the game. That was the second inning. It's not like it happened, and I get it. A bad call is a bad call, but still.
It was such a bad call, and then the strike 3 was such a bad call. And the guy freaks out, and the ump's not even going to do anything because we know we effed up.
I think you guys are underplaying this. I think that was the first time it was right in front of my face that I could say the Red Sox could beat anyone in the American League. I could see it happening. That's the first time I've ever seen that right in front of my face.
After watching
this
that game.
year. Yes,
you thought
absolutely.
That after watching that game.
Absolutely. Does Toronto scare you?
I'll come visit you on Planet Zippy sometime. No.
They should.
Right.
I mean, they should scare you, yes.
Trouble hitting.
Yeah. I mean, listen, here's the good news about last night. That's how the Red Sox, if the Red Sox win playoff games, will do it. That was a blueprint of sorts last night, is it not?
Yeah. That's how they're going to have to win.
You're getting
based on what their lineup is, yes.
You're getting a key double from Carlos Narvaez. You're getting contributions from Lowe and Narvaez. Right? If I had thrown those two names at you in January, you would have said, who are those guys?
Yep.
That's what you would have said.
And then bend, not break from your non-1-2 starters.
That's a nice shot by Romy.
Yes, exactly. Get out there, and it's not Crochet. It's the guys behind him that give you enough.
Even beyond that, though, it's the bullpen. That's what can make such a difference in the playoffs for you. The fact that Justin Slayton is back to being Justin Slayton, to have Chapman, Slayton, and Whitlock at the end of games, guess what? Get to the sixth inning. And if the sixth inning is Justin Wilson and Greg Weisser, and credit to Justin Wilson, part of the reason he was able to go more than an inning yesterday was the timing of that Narvaez double. But when you have those guys 7, 8, 9, that's a way you shorten these ball games if your starters can't work that deep. Because Lucas Giolito looks tired. Brian Bayo, the Red Sox are telling you they think he's tired. The fact that they're giving him an extra day over Crochet right now. So if you get to the wild card round, and part of the reason the Blue Jays are so stressed out and look the way they do, look at the difference between them and the Yankees right now. It's one game for the division. So all of a sudden, this whole playoff picture changes. You're in the second wild card. You'd be playing the Blue Jays next week if they blow the division here. So that's why they're pressing. You can see everything adding to them. But you get in a wild card round and you have Crochet for game 1, who can go 7. Anything's on the table. Anything's on the table at that point. Game 2, if you have to piece it together, you can. But that's what you can do with that bullpen right now. It's going to be low scoring one way or the other. We know that.
That's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. And the the Guardians, I keep doing how many years has it been now?
Whoa.
I can't get it.
Dump it.
Every time I want to say Cleveland, I want to say, I'm sorry. I mean no offense by it.
Kneel down and say sorry.
You know that. The Guardians.
And no history there.
I mean, you call a team by a certain name
I know.
for most of your life.
I've done it with the Washington football team. Like, when I was in Maryland, they were in their heyday, and that never existed, I guess. So
I apologize. Cleveland Guardians. Man, these guys are unbelievable. This is absurd now. This has reached absurd levels they're supposed to drop off by now. They're supposed to have the leveling out. It's ridiculous what has happened with that team in this month.
They're the leaders in the Central now.
Too hot.
They look like the best team right now.
Too hot. They're going to fizzle out. They're going to lose right away once the playoffs begin. Understood? Understood. Thank you. Too hot. If we were doing the show in Cleveland today, I'd be saying, "Oh no, no, this is not the plan. This is not what we need." It's too much.
But
You got to
right now-
slow down, lose a few games here, shut it down, get some rest before the playoffs.
They're going to be facing the Tigers, who have absolutely crapped their pants the last couple weeks. You were up
know.
9.5 games 2 weeks ago.
They have the exact same record now,
Beatles
85
said
and
they're going to get it
72.
going. Yesterday, you said the Tigers are going to get it going.
They're going to get it going. Gonna get it going. They're gonna flip the switch now. So 2 left in Toronto and 3 against Detroit. That's what remains for these Red Sox, who are doing their job. That's what they're
And
doing.
in the Detroit series, you're not getting Giolito or Crochet. No, it's not. You're not getting Bayo or Crochet, right?
If they need to, put the pressure on in
Right.
game 162, it will be Giolito. But you will not have Crochet or Bayo. Crochet is lined up to start game 1 of the wild card on 5 days rest, which we know his ERA is in the mid-2s instead of the mid-3s when he's on regular rest.
That's good. You have meaningful baseball this time of year.
That was a huge win last night. I know what Fangraphs said. I was not a believer that this
what
thing
is
was a done
Fangraphs
deal.
saying now?
It's got to be
96%.
Yeah.
96%.
the Houston loss and that. Now that would have taken epic collapse. That's not going to happen. So you're going to be in here, which is huge.
Yeah, I want to hear from all those callers from Friday. The dead Sox, they're going to blow it. You forget what team you're talking about. No. They took 2 of 3 in Tampa. They won the opener in Toronto. They're fine. They're in. Not officially, but they're going to get it.
And there's other things in this lineup that you can kind of have hope for. Willie Abreu getting his first hit. He needs to heat up over the next 5 games. Masataka Yoshida looking like a Major League Baseball player again, hitting 400 over his last 7 games, 327 over his last 15. That's a big deal. If you're going to get anything out of this offense, and you saw it with that leadoff double in the second inning. Oh, Masataka Yoshida, you're giving us something when he's hitting cleanup
scored.
regularly?
Yeah.
You need that. You need those guys right now.
What did you just tell me in my ear?
I said, don't forget about Nate Lowe.
Oh, no, of course. I mentioned Lowe already. You're getting big time hits from Lowe and Narvaez.
No, it's a blueprint to the LCS. No question.
But you make fun of it, but I think it is. Like, that's if you want to have any hope for this team to win some ball games, that's how it's going to have to happen.
Don't laugh at that. Jackie Bradley
Right?
Jr. was MVP.
No kidding. Like, that stupid stuff
Steve
happens
Pearce.
in baseball. Steve
Weird
Pearce.
things happen this time of year, McCollum.
Bobby Keelty, baby.
Right.
Look at Nate Eaton in the month of September being one of the Red Sox
Players
best
you
hitters.
despise.
Nate Eaton.
We're MVPs.
This can happen. Talk yourself into it, McCone. All right, get on board.
I know it could happen. You didn't go into that series going, Bobby Kilty's going to be. You need a big series from Bobby Kilty.
McCone just
There's a
wants
difference.
to see game 163. That's all. He's
I
just
do.
sour
Well,
that
look,
we're
you
not
don't have the
getting that.
tiebreaker against the Tigers, so yeah, I would want to see that.
So this is what I want you to get used to. Get used to the idea that it can be Masataka Yoshida and it can be Nate Lowe and it can be Carlos Narvaez that win you real meaningful baseball games in the month of October. I want you to warm up to the idea. I want you to be a glass half full kind of guy. All right? Because that's a blueprint last night, which is insane. Because you say, how can you consistently win that way? I don't know, but I'm believing.
Well, can we talk
This
about
is the little engine that could Red Sox, right? The little Sox that could right now.
Can we talk about the GM's comments yesterday about why you have to win that way?
Yeah.
And why he didn't add to this lineup?
Your thoughts. Go ahead.
What are we talking about, dude? Coming out saying that, well, I guess if I knew that Roman Anthony went down and if I knew that Willie Abreu went down, I would have added to the lineup. What, so you had 2 good bats in your lineup that prevented you from adding?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, you were making calls on Eugenio Suarez, who hasn't been very good since the trade deadline. But at the time, he was the most poppin' bat at the deadline. So don't tell me you weren't considering any options on the offensive side of things. And Josh Naylor would be a great fit here. You're lucky you got Nathaniel Lowe. He got released, and it's been up and down. Great when he got here. Sucked for a couple weeks. Last 2 or 3 days outside of Sunday have been pretty decent. But yeah, don't tell me you weren't looking at bats. And still, the biggest thing to me is not getting that starting pitcher, that number 2, because no one feels that great about Bayo or Giolito right now. It's why beyond the wild card round, I think the ALDS seems really scary because you're gonna have to dive deep and get performances out of those guys.
His answer again, the quote, if we were to have known, don't you just love how he talks, how this man speaks? It's a tough question to answer on asking about regrets at the deadline and not adding more. If we were to have known that Willie would be down and Roman would be down, maybe we would have acted differently. But we pursued every opportunity that we had to improve the team, and you have to prioritize where you think the greatest areas of need are. And those things clearly can change pretty quickly, but that's the reason it's important to have organizational depth, which they don't have.
Right. Which is why you would have added, dummy.
Like, you don't have that. You knew that. Even with these guys healthy, you knew you didn't have good depth.
And if you had the guys healthy, you could still add to that lineup. Your lineup was you were not the 0-4 Red Sox with that lineup. And if you looked at your lineup and said, "Hey man, we're 1 or 2 injuries away here from this looking really, really bleak," maybe there's more of a sense of urgency to actually add to that lineup as well. That's just such a cop-out answer.
Well, you remember the Masataka Yoshida, Rob Refsnyder platoon that.
Oh, yeah.
The minute that Devers
it's a great
was
point.
traded,
It's a great point.
Cora
I like
couldn't
him.
help but walk up and tell you about how great it was going to be. It's going to change the game.
So for Breslow, he's not ready to review that trade deadline yet. He said it's always appropriate to review those types of decisions. In this offseason, we're going to be faced with similar decisions, whether that's pursuing players in free agency or making trades. We want to put ourselves in the best position so that the information we have about players is accurate. So the short answer is yes. Here on September 23rd, it's probably not the best time to do that. So we'll do that later, guys.
I don't
We'll
even know what that answer means.
We'll talk about. He was asked if he was ready to review the deadline and have thoughts about how it will change his actions in the future. And he said maybe we'll think about that. But he's not a 10,000-foot guy. He's a 30,000-foot guy, and he's waiting until after the season's over to consider whether or not the deadline was a success. Because you know that if they have playoff success, he's going to sit there and say, "Well, we pursued deals, but we did a good job." You know that's what it is. That's why it's a cop-out.
He's telling you right now. Connolly Early, you like that guy? He would have had to be traded for Merrill Kelly or Zach Gallen. Which one do you want? That's what he would point to. Now, Merrill Kelly's been really good for the Rangers, and he's a postseason performer. Right now, you're taking Connolly Early, and he probably has to start Game 4 of a playoff series. So that's the balancing of this year versus next year. Your comments about turning the dial to the present, there's a balance in between. Because you go into next year, I love Connolly Early. I think he looks good. You got a lot of arms that figure into that back of the rotation that are young, including Luis Perales, who's coming off Tommy John and seems to be an emergency fire drill if everything goes wrong with their right-handed arms.
You know what you have to do? You have to figure out which one of those guys is not going to pan out.
Thank you.
That's what you need to do. They all look good right now. Many times prospects look great. You have to be the guy who knows which one is going to be great and which one isn't going to be great. That's your job as a GM. Pick the right guy to move. Because if you have a bunch of arms and you don't have bats, you've got to cash in the chip for the other. Like, that's what you got to do. And some GMs have been really good at that over the years. Others have not. Others have made horrible trades where they traded away the future of their franchise because they didn't think the player was going to pan out, and then they did. You've got to be willing to give up Carl Pavano, okay? Was he great? He was okay.
And that year with the Yankees, right?
Yeah, he was okay. I think he got paid at one point, didn't he? Didn't he get one big contract?
Yeah.
But that's the guy. You just got to be willing to give up Carl Pavano here.